Breaking news from East Lansing, where a threat has been made against all MSU athletic events. Ben.
Karen, low clouds and fog out there for the drive home, so that could cause some issues and even more problems for the weekend. Paula?
Hi, Ben. A local couple has just returned from a mission of survival in Puerto Rico. Happy to be home, Karen, but so sad about what they left behind.
And are some people just destined for divorce? New research suggests it could be in our DNA.
Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Let's start first at 4 with breaking news. On the eve of the big game between Michigan and Michigan State at the Big House, someone's made a threat against all Michigan State athletic events. Sandra Ali is in our newsroom following the very latest for us. So what is this all about, Sandra?
Well, you know, Karen, threats like this are not uncommon in the weeks following a high-profile attack like the one in Las Vegas. But Michigan State University, its police department, and its athletic department are taking this very seriously. The threat came in the form of a letter prompting this statement right here from police. And this is a quote. It reads, "The East Lansing and Michigan State University Police Department have received a letter making general threats against Michigan State University athletic events. The letter does not provide specific information in regards to the event or manner of the threat." Both police departments are working in conjunction with additional law enforcement agencies to investigate the origin and also the validity of these statements. The case, of course, remains an open and a very active investigation at this point. U of M, in fact, just released a statement saying they are aware of the situation, and right now they're encouraging everyone to remain vigilant. Our Mara McDonald is headed to East Lansing right now. She is on her way. She's going to have much more on this breaking news coming up in a live report that's coming up for us here at 5 o'clock. Karen?
All right, thank you very much, Sandra. The Oakland County Health Department is strongly pushing the flu shot tonight after the flu-related death of a senior citizen, with flu season just beginning. The influenza vaccine is recommended for everyone over 6 months old. Getting an annual flu shot decreases the risk of the flu and its severity. It also protects the people around you, including those who can't be vaccinated. The flu virus can be spread to others as far as 6 feet away through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Washing your hands frequently with soap and water can also help reduce your risk of getting sick. A judge today ordered Michigan State Police and the Detroit Police to preserve evidence in the death of Damon Grimes. That move comes after attorney Jeffrey Feiger raised the possibility of a police cover-up. Grimes was killed back in August during a chase with state police. He was riding an ATV trying to get away when he was tased by a trooper. Moments later, he ran into a truck and was killed. We will have more on this story coming up tonight at 5. A major Detroit area bridge project is expected to end in 2018. This week, the Michigan Department of Transportation gave an update on the Rouge River Bridge project. Officials say crews are on track to finish rebuilding that bridge over Interstate 75 by the end of next year. The southbound lanes of I-75 have been closed for about 8 miles from Detroit to Southgate since February. Construction is expected to begin in mid-November. Time now for our first look at the forecast and kind of a dreary start to our weekend, Ben.
Yeah, not a great afternoon and not a great drive home for folks. You can barely see the control tower there at Metro Airport as the fog is starting to enshroud a good chunk of the area. So far, the lowest visibilities, we've got her up in Pontiac at about 1.75 miles, but you can see at how many of the places we've got visibility that's less than 5 miles. So the fog is definitely noticeable, especially in a couple low-lying areas. It may sneak on you as you're driving home with some even lower numbers. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot to show you on radar. We've got some very light showers and possibly some drizzle in our north zone that have started to move to the east. The amounts aren't really going to be all that significant tonight. Tomorrow's going to be a different story as we're expecting not only thunderstorms, but possibly severe storms. And this looks like it's going to be in the late evening hours. We'll talk about timing for that. Dry, cooler as we finish the weekend at 76 on Sunday. So a lot to discuss, plus potentially Hurricane Nate, all coming up in a few minutes. Don't forget to check the latest on the weekend storms with the local forecasters app. It is absolutely free and definitely something you can take with you if you're headed to the game tomorrow night. Search for WDIV in our app store. Karen?
All right, thank you, Ben. The death toll in Puerto Rico has risen again following Hurricane Maria's devastation there. 2 more people have died, bringing the total lives lost to 36. 90% of the island remains without power. Communication is difficult. Cell service is rare outside of the capital of San Juan. On some parts of the island, there is a wait of several days for an ambulance to transport people to hospitals.
How would you describe the situation here in Comerío to somebody watching in the mainland?
It's a war zone. It's a war zone. They need help here.
One big name willing to help is Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who tweeted last night that his company's solar power technology could be of use in rebuilding Puerto Rico's energy grid. Tesla has launched similar efforts on other smaller islands. Puerto Rico's governor is open to the idea.
My expectation is that I will have a conversation with Elon Musk, and I am very serious about considering innovative technology, about green energy generation in Puerto Rico, and recognizing, as I stated over here, that our path forward sure needs to consider what can we do to meet Puerto Rico's basic needs and in terms of energy as quickly as possible, but without sacrificing the opportunity to rebuild anew.
Now locally, an Ypsilanti couple has just returned after a week in Puerto Rico. The Flaherquins were concerned for their loved ones who weren't getting the basic necessities of food, water, and fuel. So last Thursday, they packed up 2,400 pounds of supplies, including generators, and then they made their way to the island. Paula Tutman has been following their journey. She first met them at the airport, showed us as they were taking off, and now we can find out how their journey turned out. She's live in the Satellite Center. Paula.
Hi, Karen. Yeah, they left as 2. They came back as 3. Happy to sleep in their own beds last night, unable to sleep well because they know full well what they left behind. I want to show you this video. I want you to keep an eye on it because it really does figure heavily into what they experienced when they were in Puerto Rico. Gabby and Guillermo Flaherquin are now home in Ypsilanti, safe, sound, but physically and mentally exhausted, knowing that they have left loved ones with a Herculean struggle to survive the aftermath of Hurricane Maria.
When I went back, this time, I didn't recognize Puerto Rico.
Take a look at this. It's video of San Juan, Puerto Rico. They shot of the line it takes just to score a few gallons of gas. It seems to go forever. We were with them as they packed up supplies to take to their family last week.
Canned tuna, canned salmon.
Watched as they navigated air travel with what turned out to be 2,300 pounds of supplies, including generators.
Some of these are going to sit in Atlanta.
They don't even recognize the island. No trees. The flowers are gone. Bees swarm houses looking for something to pollinate. Schools are still closed. And so Gabby's 15-year-old sister has been sent from Puerto Rico just so she could have a hot shower, consistent internet to study, and cell phone service to try to find lost friends.
So you don't even know what happened to some of your friends yet?
No.
Does that worry you at all?
Yes.
And note that line for gas continues.
Doesn't matter if you're poor, if you're rich, if you're old or young, everybody now has their same routine. And it's get water, get food, get gas, get ice, and then repeat.
We waked up like what time? Like 7 a.m. and it was showtime, right? It was always like looking for supplies.
Her dad now has water at their house. So he gets Ziploc bags, bags of water, takes them over to her brother's house, who has a freezer and a generator, and they make ice there. And then they go and give it to other people.
And still, take a look at the streets. Water that is rainwater, sewage, and ocean combined. And by the way, by the time you get to that pump, that gas is already gone. So we actually let their video of that gas line roll unedited for 2 minutes, the entire length of this story. They were going about 25 miles per hour. We never ever saw the end of that gas line. I do want to point out that Delta Airlines has been a true partner. They allowed all of that freight to ship for free. They jumped through hoops to get Gabby's sister on their flight without a lot of fuss. They fed everyone on that flight for free. Listen, Karen, we know that this is a national story, but this is a local story for us. We have so many families on these islands, and I want you to know that we will continue to cover their plight in our newscasts as well as our social media platforms. Karen.
Very important story to be told, and boy, that gas line is heartbreaking. I can't believe that was going on for 2 solid minutes and it never ended.
Yeah, tough to watch.
All right, thank you very much, Paula Tutman, live for us this afternoon. First at 4, we're on top of stories making headlines around the world on this Friday. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl is expected to plead guilty to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. Now, this is just the latest chapter in an 8-year drama that started when he left his post in Afghanistan and then was captured by the Taliban back in June of 2009. He remained a captive until May of 2014, when former President Obama traded 5 Guantanamo Bay inmates to secure Bergdahl's freedom. Sentencing is set for October 23rd. President Trump changing the Obamacare contraceptive mandate today by allowing more employers to opt out of providing no-cost birth control. What was originally an exemption for houses of worship and religious nonprofits will now expand to nonprofits, private firms, and publicly traded companies. Companies can opt out if they claim it is for religious reasons. The administration says that 99% of women who receive birth control through the mandate would not be affected. Memorials can be seen all over Las Vegas to honor the people who were killed in the worst shooting in United States history. In front of the famous Welcome to Las Vegas sign, crosses have been lined in the median bearing the names of each person killed. Another memorial is on the side of the street near the site of the shooting. People from all over the world have visited these memorials to pay their respects as the city continues to heal. The U.S. lost 33,000 jobs in September because of hurricanes Harvey and Irma. This marked the first monthly hiring drop in nearly 7 years. These hurricanes closed thousands of businesses in Texas and Florida, forcing widespread evacuations. Roughly 1.5 million people were unable to work last month because of the weather. Hiring is expected to rebound in coming months as the businesses reopen. Still ahead, first at 4, some of the fans of last night's Red Wings opener at Little Caesars Arena are feeling nostalgic for the Joe. Find out what they want changed and why they may want to reconsider. Plus, why divorce may be in some people's DNA. We'll be talking about that next in Good Health.
Fight Fever. Coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
It's an injury that's sidelining a growing number of athletes. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Tonight in Good Health, what's going wrong and why girls could be particularly at risk.
New research today suggesting divorce may be in our DNA. Past studies have found adult children of divorced parents are more likely to get divorced themselves, suggesting their upbringing increased those odds. But new research finds people who were adopted had a divorce history that resembled their biological parents, not their adoptive family. Experts say it's likely inherited personality traits, like being impulsive or neurotic, are actually to blame. Doctors may have a simple way to cut germs up their sleeves. New research suggests physicians who wear white coats with short sleeves are less likely to be carrying viruses that could be transmitted between patients. Researchers point out doctors' coats are often contaminated but rarely cleaned. The UK actually requires doctors to be bare below the elbows to reduce the risk of spreading infections between patients. Ben is back. The weekend is right around the corner.
It's here.
Now it's 83 tomorrow. That's going to be
it's a
like hot in the day and then rainy at night.
We've got a warm front that's going to come through.
Okay.
We'll spend most of the day dry, and those winds will be pushing in the warmer air. But we do have storms in store for tomorrow night. Not so much right now. In fact, with the clouds, the drizzle, and the fog that's out there, temperatures are staying on the mild side. 63 is where we're at right now at Metro. In fact, everybody's in the 60s. Some of the warmer temperatures up to the north at Sandusky at 66, and Monroe, which is also at that number. But visibilities, which we'll look at here in a second, are down. Temperature change compared to yesterday. It's about 10 to 15 degrees colder than what we were looking at 4 p.m. yesterday. So our numbers really have been all over the map this week. Numbers continue to go down as far as visibilities go. We're down to 1.75 miles there in Ann Arbor, 2 miles in Pontiac, and about 2.5 in Port Huron. So you can see that stripe of fog. It's across the area. Visibilities are a little bit better in the city of Detroit. This is the lookout at 96 in Novi, and you can see out on the horizon things get a little fuzzy, but at least traffic is moving at a decent clip for that road at this hour. Things are going to get obviously a little bit jammed up as the volumes increase this evening. Otherwise, back at the Detroit riverfront, you can see a little bit further from across the river. 63 is where we sit with temperatures, and that visibility at Metro is at 4 miles right now. But we do have thunderstorms in the offing. They're not going to be tonight. However, we will be seeing scattered showers, maybe some drizzle, but it's really not going to amount to much as far as the precipitation goes. Probably about 1/10 of an inch at best from those nighttime showers. Most of tomorrow is going to be dry. A lot of us will wake up that way, maybe a shower around in the morning, but most of the day is going to be dry until the cold front arrives, and it's going to be late. This is 9 o'clock, and we'll start seeing thunderstorms move through, and some of those could be strong or severe. Even the winds ahead of the storms during the day are going to get up to 25 miles an hour, and some of those within these thunderstorms could be enough to cause these storms to become severe. It looks like the best timing right now of bringing that into Ann Arbor is going to be around 11 o'clock, so this is going to be towards the tail end of the game, of Michigan State game over at the Big House. If it doesn't affect the game, it's definitely going to affect your drive home. So pack up that tailgate before you head into the game, because Mother Nature may take care of it for you before you get back to it. Front clears the area about 3 a.m. and that should end our chances of rain, and otherwise temperatures going from those numbers in the 80s for tailgaters, 77 at kickoff, and cooling quickly as those storms get very close to the game by 11 o'clock at night. Otherwise, temperatures tonight 61, not too far from where we're at right now, and scattered light showers will be around. Highs tomorrow will get into the 80s in a lot of the area. Metro zone numbers 83 in the city. As you look down to the south, remember we've got those strong south winds tomorrow. Could be up to 84 in spots in Lenawee County. West zone temperatures are going to be at 82 in Novi and Milford. And when you get to the north zone, we're looking at numbers that are going to be close to 80 degrees. So we will see temperatures cool for a dry finish to the weekend, Karen.
Still ahead, the wait is almost over. We've got a sneak peek at the new set of emojis Apple will soon be magically adding to iPhones. And next, evidence that the trend of stores staying open on Thanksgiving night for Black Friday shoppers may be a dying phase. Time now for a look at today's top trending stories. Despite the Black Friday deals, many of your favorite stores may actually be closed this year. BestBlackFriday.com conducted a survey and found most people dislike the idea of stores being open during the Thanksgiving holiday. Now they have listed more than 75 retailers who've decided not to partake in the Black Friday frenzy. Stores include Costco, IKEA, Sam's Club, Neiman Marcus, DSW, and Home Depot, just to name a few. All right, a new iPhone update is coming with a bunch of new emojis. You will soon be able to freshen up your text messages with emojis, including a smiley face, a hedgehog, a Chinese food. There's a dinosaur over there, a couple of varieties for you in case you're looking for that perfect emoji. A couple dozen other select beta testers will also receive these emojis next week, while everyone else will see these in an update a little later this fall, so stay tuned. Take a look at this. This is trending today. It's a rare sight captured on radar over Colorado. Scientists discovered a colorful mass almost 70 miles wide. Now, at first, they thought it was a blob of birds migrating south, but soon they realized it was a group of painted lady butterflies. Forecasters say it's very unusual for any insects to be detected by radar. Painted ladies migrate to northern Mexico and the U.S. Southwest during winter months. Kind of pretty cool there. Well, we were dazzled, that's for sure, last night by the sight of the regular season hockey inside Little Caesars Arena. But for some fans, one thing just didn't seem quite right. Take a listen.
On back to Green, score! Tipped inside of the net!
Well, apparently that goal horn sounded too recorded compared to the one at Joe Louis Arena. Now, fans have started a Change.org petition to have it changed. But here's the thing. The new one is a direct copy of the sound effect that was used at the Joe, which was also a recording. Still, the people at LCA do plan to make some tweaks to the sound to make it as similar to the old one as possible. Well, who says beer can't be used for medicinal purposes? One brewer claims she's got something perfect for women who are going through the change of life.
It's
Well, finally today, something very special made for women going through menopause.
Yeah, that's right. After 6 long years, a brewery in New Hampshire created a special ale for these women, and apparently it is doctor approved. The label name, Liberation, touts ingredients like chamomile, nettle, and some not so well-known herbs like mother's wort to potentially help ease stress and hormone imbalances.
Chamomile is always calming. Co-owner of the brewery, Joanne Francis, says she wants women to celebrate and welcome menopause as a new stage in their life. Well, thank you so much for joining us for First at 4. We are back in a half hour with Local 4 News at 5. Inside Edition is next.